Personally, I find people have the best training sessions when their body is warmest. If you're, say, going to work a 9 to 5 job, it's the middle of winter where you are, you finish work, you're tired, you have a shot of coffee, go to the gym, it's freezing fucking cold, you walked out of the office, you got to walk 20 minutes to get to the gym, whatever. Bad idea. Don't go to the gym when you're freezing cold. So make sure your body temperature is at a relatively warm, indoors ambient temperature. Don't go from one extreme to the other. It's a stress in the body that you don't need. You're not going to be able to train as effectively if your body's so focused on keeping the blood in your brain as opposed to your muscle tissues from being in a more appropriate temperature or weather condition. Other things as well, some people prefer to train fasted. Some people prefer to train fed. There is no hard science on it at all in the literature to suggest which one is better than the other. It's purely based on feel. What I do with a lot of clients is say to them, try out each way for about 2 weeks. So, for example, if you train 2 to 4 times per week, say Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that, do that for 2 weeks, but train first thing in the morning fasted. It might be that you have to have one meal in, then train. Then also experiment with the time between training and feeding. So for me, I personally prefer to train after one meal because it gives me a bit of time in the morning to hydrate a little bit because I'm a big guy. I sweat a bit during the night, so I need a bit more hydration of people. I also don't drink in the middle of the night because I'm going to piss myself all night, which is annoying. It means I'm going to impact recovery and sleep by waking up to go to urinate all the time. So I'd say make sure you're hydrated, make sure you're warm. Try not to be bloated when you train because you're never going to train as effectively if 35% of your blood volume is in your digestive system because you're digesting food. The best situation is to have a little bit of food in my opinion, so that you've got some backup fuel if you're not well fed. Now, if you're bulking, as in you're eating more than what your body probably demands at the time, you're trying to gain muscle tissue at a fast rate, you're going to find you're not going to be wanting to be training when you're bloated after a full meal. In which case, you might do the half and half approach where you might have a mini meal or a mini feeding before the gym. So for a lot of people, that might be, it depends what you're eating. So I'm not going to dictate to you what you should eat, but it might be a coffee with some butter in it with 2 boiled eggs or something. I don't know. Maybe that's a mini meal for you. Maybe it's a big meal for you. I don't know. But maybe that's what you need to feel hydrated, get some electrolytes to your system before you train. The way you assess what's most effective is one, how you feel. Because I think there are other metrics such as strength, which you can track to work out which is more effective. But if you're doing something which is more effective, but you feel like shit when you're training, you're not going to get a good long-term result and you're not going to be able to adhere or sustain for very long. In which case, you don't be bloated when you train, maybe train fasted. So run each intervention for about 2 weeks and see which one you prefer to do. Now, the next kind of thing goes into is mealtime, meal frequency. Again, it doesn't really matter. It depends mostly on what your individual digestive capacity is. For me, my meals are fucking huge. So for me to train after an hour, like an hour training after eating, is not going to work out very well. But for Rick's been following a carnivorous way of eating for over 40 years. He could eat 2 or 3 meals per day. And if he was to train or do some work, some manual labor, he might be able to do it after 2 pounds of meat. His body is different to mine. His body might have regulated itself in such a way to allow that to happen. So there's no hard rules in it, but I'd say just do what makes you feel good, which still gives you results. I'd be conscious of making sure that you track your macros from day to day, or at least tracking your food intake in grams. So whether it be half a kilo of ground beef with 4 eggs with, 4 tablespoons of butter. Okay. Maybe split it up into 3. Maybe that works well. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you have to split it up into, say, a 40-40-20 split. So maybe do 20% of your food first thing, train after 2 hours, give it after 2-3 hours. Whenever you're next hungry again, then have your second feeding, then maybe your third feeding if you eat 3 times a day. So that's what I would personally do. But hopefully that gives you a bit of insight, a bit of guidance. There's no hard rules. Looking to optimize these things because you've read a study or heard someone online, an influencer say this is optimal is not going to work. If I did what was popular online, I wouldn't probably be sitting here right now. I'll probably be in a hospital after probably, I don't know, numerous attempts at my life or something because I've followed someone else's stupid advice online. You know, the bad advice does exist. You can't go too far wrong if you listen to your own intuition, your own hunger signals, your own instincts, and do something quite sensible. Don't try and force yourself to do something which is...
Introducing Beef Up Carnivore Bodybuilding Bible. The ultimate guide for men and women to lose fat and build muscle. And the best part, it's only $12. Don't miss out on the most detailed resource available. Get your copy now at compositionconsultant.com.
Oh, fasting, because it burns more fat. It doesn't burn more fat. Your body will burn whatever you feed it. If I melted down a kilo of butter and put it through Rick's bloodstream right now, intravenously, hypothetical guys, I'm not being serious, but if I did that, he'd be burning entirely fat for ages. It doesn't mean he'd be losing fat, it just means he'd be oxidizing fat as an energy substrate. So be careful of the nomenclature and the wording online. When someone says, I took this supplement and it increased fat burning, was it fat? Did you eat MCT oil? Did you eat butter? Did you eat cream? Yes, you just enhanced your fat burning, but at the expense of eating more fat. So if you're trying to lose body fat, it's not going to work. You just blockaded that potential fat loss benefit. I think a lot of people that come to the carnivore way of eating, many of them are extreme sort of people. I'm not saying this as if I'm not, because I certainly am. But a lot of people I speak to, they want to be so exact and so perfect, but it's like, sometimes being perfect is actually doing nothing. The idea of not stressing your body out. I'm tired today. Well, don't go to the gym. You know, there's lots of things you can look at. What did he say? People pay way too much attention to what others say rather than how they feel. Completely agree. Yeah. Like even Coach Stephen, my mate Stephen, Stephen Thomas from the UK, he's a trained phlebotomist, and even he says, I can read your blood work and interpret what is going on. Same with Professor Barquet, same with Harry Spanos. But it only gives you an indication of something which is wrong if the symptomology presents itself in that way. If you come at someone and say, oh, your triglycerides are high, well, how do you feel? Fucking awesome. I've got loads of energy, I can play with the kids. I can cycle a bike across Florida in torrential rain and hurricanes, and well, that's good enough for me. I'd rather go by that metric than, oh, your triglycerides are 0.1 above what the reference normative range says they should be. Bizarre.
Check out my site at compositionconsultant.com, where your journey to peak performance and optimal health begins. With a degree in human nutrition and over 15 years of training experience, I've guided more than 400 carnivores to not just meet, but exceed their physique and performance goals. Through personalized consultations, comprehensive ebooks, and dedicated coaching, I'm here to ensure your success. Join the ranks of those who have transformed their lives. It's time to align your physique goals with positive health outcomes. Visit compositionconsultant.com today and take the first step towards the best version of you.